The Glenfiddich 18-year-old is bottled at 40% alcohol by volume. The legal floor for Scotch whiskey, chill filtered, caramel colored. It costs up to $170. That is entry-level processing wearing a luxury price tag, and it is not even the worst deal on this list. Starting with number 1 on the overpriced list. Glenfiddich 18-year-old. Somewhere between $120 and $170 depending on your market. In the United Kingdom, it is bottled at 40% ABV, the legal floor. The United States version comes in at 43%, which is marginally better and still chill filtered regardless. Caramel coloring applied, consistent amber every single time. Here is what 40% with chill filtration actually means in a glass. Chill filtration removes the fatty acids and oils that give Scotch its texture, that waxy coating quality that lingers on the palate. At 40%, those compounds are already borderline. Chill filter on top of that, and you are left with something that pours cleanly, looks beautiful in a crystal glass, and delivers about as much weight as a firm handshake from someone who does not really mean it. Recent online reviews have included descriptors like thin and lacking the depth you expect at this price point, which at $150 is a polite disaster. Glenfiddich also makes a 15-year-old using their Solera system, a genuinely interesting production method, and it consistently earns stronger reviews than the 18. When your cheaper bottle outperforms your expensive one, something has gone badly wrong. The 18-year-old is not a bad whiskey. It is a whiskey that costs twice what it should, because the label does the heavy lifting the liquid refuses to do. Like paying for a tailor-made suit and discovering it was sewn by a machine, and they just kept the fitting appointment. Number 2. The Singleton 12-year-old. Priced anywhere from $35 to around $50 depending on the market and the bottle you happen to grab. The Singleton is not a distillery. It is a brand name Diageo created to serve as a gateway single malt, which is corporate language for engineered to offend nobody. Behind the Singleton label sit 3 completely different distilleries. Glen Ord supplies Asia. Dufftown supplies Europe. Glendullan supplies North America. 3 different distilleries, 3 different flavor profiles, 3 genuinely different whiskeys, all wearing the same label, all bottled at 40% with chill filtration and caramel coloring. The bottle you buy in Tokyo is not the bottle you buy in London. The one you bring home from a trip abroad is not the one your friend just ordered online. The Singleton moves enormous volume, which is the point. When you engineer a product for maximum inoffensiveness and distribute it through 3 different production sources to hit price points across multiple continents, you are not making whiskey. You are making a brand. There is nothing wrong with any of the 3 underlying distilleries individually. Glen Ord in particular produces some genuinely interesting spirit. But what reaches you inside that Singleton bottle has been processed into something so neutral it could pass for a corporate compromise, because that is exactly what it is. $35 to $50 for a marketing architecture is not a whiskey purchase. It is a brand loyalty fee. Number 3. The Balvenie Doublewood 12-year-old. $65 to $80 in most markets. And this one stings because the Balvenie story is genuinely seductive. William Grant & Sons maintains their own malting floor, one of only a handful left operating in Scotland. They have a resident coppersmith and an in-house cooperage where casks are repaired and prepared on site. The Doublewood 12 spends its full aging in bourbon casks and then finishes in Oloroso sherry casks. Honey, vanilla, dried, fruit, a whisper of spice. It is a genuinely pleasant whiskey. It also used to cost $30 to $40. The whiskey did not get 60% better. The brand got 60% more famous. That is legacy exploitation, and Balvenie has mastered it. The craft romance, the floor maltings, the coppersmith, the hand-rolled wax, all of it is real, and all of it is doing marketing work that allows William Grant to raise prices on liquid that has not materially changed. At 43% with chill filtration, this is a comfortable, well-made whiskey at an uncomfortable price. The story is worth something. It is not worth the gap between $40 and $75. Number 4. Bowmore 12-year-old, $45 to $55. Bowmore was established in 1779 on the Isle of Islay, making it the oldest distillery on the island. That history should mean something. The problem is not the distillery. The problem is what Beam Suntory does to it before it reaches you. At 40% ABV with chill filtration and caramel coloring, the Bowmore 12 is a commercially processed version of a spirit that, at its core, is genuinely fascinating. Lightly peated, coastal, with a floral quality that distinguishes it from the heavier peat monsters Islay is famous for. That character is real. Independent bottlers who source Bowmore casks and bottle them at cask strength without chill filtration demonstrate exactly how expressive this distillery can be. The difference between those bottles and the official 12-year-old is not subtle. It is the difference between hearing a band live and hearing their music piped through an airport speaker system. The room is the same. What reaches you is not. And here is where I want to plant something you should keep in mind, because we are coming back to it. Beam Suntory owns Bowmore. They choose 40% and chill filtration for the official expression. Remember that company name, because it appears, again on the value side of this list, making completely different decisions for a different brand. The reason that contrast exists will tell you more about how the whiskey industry actually works than anything else in this video. Number 5. Talisker 10-year-old, $60 to $80 in most markets. This one is harder to condemn on the liquid alone. At 45.8% ABV, Talisker is actually one of the few Diageo malts that respects the bottle enough to give it real proof. Black pepper, sea salt, campfire smoke that builds and builds. For an island malt at that proof, this is a legitimately good whiskey. So why is it on this list? Because 5 years ago you could find it for $45 to $50. The whiskey has not changed. The price has. Diageo has raised the cost of Talisker 10-year-old so aggressively that it now sits in a bracket where smaller distilleries offer equal or greater complexity at lower prices. And Diageo applies this playbook across their portfolio. Oban 14-year-old, one of their Highland coastal expressions made at their second smallest distillery by production capacity, uses worm tub condensers that should produce a spirit of real weight and texture. It runs $75 to $95 in most markets. Bottled at 43% with chill filtration, that weight is dialed back before it reaches you. 2 distilleries, 2 different production signatures, same corporate approach. When you are paying $65 or $70 for Talisker, you are paying for what it used to cost, not what it is worth today against its actual competition. Number 6. The Glenlivet 18-year-old, $85 to over $100. This is the one. This is where the price tag and the production standards are furthest apart, and the gap is genuinely offensive once you see it. The Glenlivet 18 is bottled at 43% in the United States market, chill filtered, caramel colored, for an 18-year-old single malt at $100. Those are entry-level processing standards applied to a luxury price point. The liquid is pleasant, genuinely pleasant. Stone fruit, vanilla, a soft oak that never quite becomes interesting. When professional reviewers reach for the word pleasant to describe a $100 bottle, it is not praise. It is a diplomatic failure notice. Here is the comparison that makes it absurd. The Glenlivet 12-year-old sits around $40 to $50. 6 fewer years of aging, similar production approach. And in blind tastings, the gap in quality does not come close to matching the gap in price. The age statement is doing all the work that the liquid refuses to do. 18 years in wood should mean something. It means extra time in a cask that cost money. It does not automatically mean extra complexity in a glass, especially when the processing strips out the very compounds that complexity travels in. This is the price per age statement, scam in its cleanest form. You are not buying 18-year-old whiskey. You are buying the number 18 on a label. That is the overpriced list. 6 single malts, where the gap between what the bottle implies and what the glass delivers is costing you real money. Before we turn to the bottles that are actually worth your attention, if you find this kind of breakdown useful, subscribe. Every week we go through the brands, the production decisions, and the pricing math that the industry hopes you never look at too closely. And tell me in the comments, which one of those 6 surprised you the most? I want to know if Glenfiddich on the overpriced list felt obvious, or if that one stung. Now, 4 bottles that are doing the work the overpriced list refuses to do. Number 4. Singleton 12-year-old, $30 to $45. Singleton sits in the Highlands near Inverness and produces over 5 million liters a year, most of which disappears quietly into blended Scotch. The single malt range is an afterthought for the blending industry and a revelation for anyone paying attention. Bourbon and sherry casks at 43% ABV. Baked apple, butterscotch, warm cinnamon, a vanilla softness that arrives without effort. Japanese company Takara Shuzo owns it and has invested seriously in the distillery, but the name has not caught up to the quality. No name recognition means no brand tax. No lifestyle marketing campaign means no marketing markup built into the price. Their cask strength expression, typically around $50 to $60, is one of the most underpriced bottles in Scotch right now. But the 12-year-old is where you start, because at $35 it drinks like something that should cost twice as much. Number 3. Benromach 10-year-old, $40 to $55. Gordon and MacPhail have been in the whiskey business since 1895. They are one of the most respected independent bottlers in Scotland, and they own Benromach outright, a small Speyside distillery near the town of Forres. 2 stills, 4 wooden washbacks, lightly peated in a region that almost never touches peat, aged in bourbon and sherry casks, bottled at 43%. The peat here is not aggressive. Think the memory of a campfire from 2 fields away rather than a burning building. It gives the spirit a backbone that Speyside almost never produces. That contrast, the light smoke against the fruit and honey of a classic Speyside profile, is what makes Benromach 10-year-old embarrass 12 and 15-year-old bottles from brands 3 times its size. When a century of independent expertise meets a distillery willing to take creative risks, $45 does not feel like a bargain. It feels like a mistake in your favor. Number 2. Deanston 12-year-old, $40 to $60. Deanston sits in the Highland town of Doon in a converted cotton mill, and it is the only distillery in Scotland that is entirely self-sustaining for electricity, running its own hydroelectric turbine on the River Tythe and selling excess power back to the Scottish grid. That is the kind of detail that tells you something about how a place operates. The 12-year-old is matured exclusively in ex-bourbon casks, bottled at 46.3% ABV, non-chill filtered, and presented in natural color. Read that again, and then look at the overpriced list. Higher proof than the Glenlivet 18. No chill filtration, no artificial coloring, and it costs less than half the price. In the glass, honeycomb, barley sugar, a waxy mouthfeel that coats the palate properly, citrus peel, and a finish that is longer and more honest than anything bottled at 40% has any right to claim. When a distillery gives you 46.3% and natural color at this price, they are telling you their priority is the whiskey. They do not have a marketing budget large enough to charge you for one, so they are charging you for the liquid instead. Number 1. Glengarioch 12-year-old, $45 to $60. And here is where I pay off something I planted earlier. Beam Suntory owns Glengarioch, the same company that bottles Bowmore at 40% with chill filtration. That takes one of Islay's most historically interesting distilleries and processes it into commercial neutrality. The same parent company. And with Glengarioch, they do the opposite. The 12-year-old is bottled at 48% ABV, non-chill filtered, matured in bourbon and sherry casks in a distillery that completed a major renovation, including the restoration of traditional floor maltings. Glengarioch sits in Old Meldrum in Aberdeenshire, the furthest east distillery in Scotland, and has been producing since 1797. It is one of the oldest working distilleries in the country. At 48%, this whiskey has actual weight. Sweet porridge, brown sugar, baked pears, a salty, coastal edge on the finish that grips the palate and stays. The extra proof is not just a number. It changes the texture of everything, the way flavors develop across the sip, the length of the finish, the presence of the whiskey in the glass. You do not get that from 40%. You cannot, because the chemistry does not allow it. Now here is what that contrast tells you about the industry. Beam Suntory chose 40% and chill filtration for Bowmore because Bowmore carries enough name recognition and heritage marketing that the processing shortcut is invisible to most buyers. They chose 48% and non-chill filtration for Glengarioch because Glengarioch has almost no mainstream recognition, which means the liquid has to sell the bottle because nothing else will. The brand tax is not about what is in the glass. It is about how much marketing has been spent telling you the bottle is worth it before you ever open it. Glengarioch has not had that spend. So you get the whiskey instead. Personally, I think this is the most clarifying case study in value on the current Scotch shelf. Not because Glengarioch is a hidden secret, it is right there in any decent whiskey shop, but because the parent company comparison removes every excuse the industry usually offers. This is not a small independent versus a corporate giant. It is the same corporate giant making two choices, and the cheaper, less famous bottle is the better product. At $45 to $60 against Bowmore at $45 to $55, you are paying the same money for 8 additional points of proof, no industrial processing, and a whiskey that has not been flattened by its own parent company's cost calculations. The next time you are standing in front of a whiskey shelf and you reach for the bottle with the name you recognize, the one that has always been there, the one that feels safe, ask yourself one question. Who taught you to trust that name? And what did it cost them to do it? The answer is usually on the back label, written in proof and processing if you know how to read it.